How you doing, Dr. Ulysses Jackson? Back with another Mental Health Monday. I'd like to thank everybody for joining in for another week. This week we're going to discuss identifying anger. And I have to start off with the disclosure or the disclaimer that what you hear in these discussions is just for that. It's a discussion. It's an informational session where we discuss various topics about mental health, and we present it on Mondays as Mental Health Mondays. And my name is Dr. Ulysses Jackson. And again, I appreciate you for tuning in. For those that haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please hit that like button, subscribe so you can be notified. Again, I thought the topic for today that could really be addressed is identifying anger. With everything that's going on, especially with violence, the war, I just felt like sometimes you may be in a place in an emotional state where you find yourself getting angry. And anger is a very strong emotion. And we want to make sure that we're able to look around and say, what am I angry for? What are those triggers? What makes me go from 0 to 100? So in today's discussion, I want to identify some triggers that can lead to people being angry. So first, anger could come in many different forms at many different times. I want everyone to understand that anger also is temporary. Anger is a temporary state, a temporary emotion. An example of anger. Have you ever done something and then thought to yourself, I did that because I was angry, and then you were saying, I wish I wouldn't have done it, or I only did that because I was angry, upset. This leads back to, we can always take back words. We can never take back action. There's a lot of people in these state penitentiaries, these federal jails, because their anger was such a strong emotion at that time that it just triggered them to behave or act in a way out of an angry rage or angry outburst, or their anger went right to aggression. Understanding anger outbursts and identifying anger when it happens is most important. Because you could just be enjoying your day and out of nowhere you're very upset and you're very angry at something for whatever reason, and you're trying to figure out what happened. How did I get here? So we're going to go further in depth about identifying those angers. So when you evaluate this level of anger, you could say, have I ever been angry that I wanted to hurt myself or someone else? That's why when you do mental health evaluations, sometimes they ask you, do you have any suicidal or homicidal tendencies? Which really means in layman's terms, do you want to hurt yourself or someone else? What's the level of this anger? Is this an anger that could, you have to take a walk? Is this that anger where cops need to be called? Is this the anger where, you should be locked up for the threat of violence of hurting yourself or others? Whenever you've been in an angry situation, has your anger ever been justifiable? Like, I have solid reasons why I can be angry and why I should be angry at this person or someone else. And then when you also become angry, do you go from 0 to 100? Are you the type of person that when you get angry, you almost somebody have to come and hold you down, or you see the friends jumping in the middle? Hey, get away from him or get away from her. Calm her down. Balance that anger, because what's starting to happen is that if you're that person that goes into that rage and you meet a person that goes into them rages too, it's like, I just met each other's equal. You going from 0 to 100, and I'm going to 0 for 100. When them two rocks keep hitting each other, a spark's going bound to happen. So we have to understand that measuring our anger. And then also, when I go into my anger management curriculum with some people, the main thing that always sticks out in anger management is the 3 W's to always look at. So whenever I get angry, or when I used to get angry, now I have a tool that I could use. I got to say, who am I angry at? What am I angry at and why? Because the who, what, and why allows me or gives me an opportunity to evaluate the position that I'm going to take. If I'm driving a car and someone cuts me off, that was the who. Who was that? The what? I'm going north, they going south. We just pass each other real quick. Do I turn my car around and chase them down? So, and then why? If I would turn around and do that, why? What am I going to do if I finally catch up on the side of them? Throw them the bird? Give them the middle finger? What am I going to do in this rage that I finally catch up to this person for? So always understand when you find yourself getting upset, ask yourself, who am I angry at? What am I angry at? And why? And sometimes we look and say, is my anger contagious? Which means I'm upset today. It's a topic, it's an issue, and I'm upset. Do I go look for co-defendants? Do I look for somebody that's going to validate my position? I don't like this group of person, or I feel he did me wrong, or I feel she did me wrong. We should call that finding people that's going to help put that fuel in your back and gas you up. And 9 times out of 10, them is the people that ain't come with no bail money. Them is the people that ain't really going to step up and visit you. So we got to understand that, is anger contagious? Meaning, am I going to sort out other people that have the same beliefs and ideology as me? I'm mad at this group of people. So I'm going to find somebody that's also mad at this group of people. I'm mad at my friend today. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to seek out other people that aren't friends with this person, and then we're going to be angry together. We're going to be a group of angry people. So look and see that, is your anger contagious, and do you involve other people in your anger issues? Next, we're going to evaluate the level of angry. You know what I'm saying? Seeking out those groups, as I said, and how do you disconnect and just take time to get over your anger? So now you done went to the group, you done displayed the behavior, you're upset. Now what are we going to do? Is there a way out? Or if you put yourself in a corner, that violence or a negative behavior is the only response left. You know? It's like if I say, man, I'm going to ride down on this person, and then I see them, and I got my group, they don't like them either, we all ready to roll, what happens? I put myself in a situation where it may be impossible to disconnect and get out of this. At this point, you have to recognize the triggers that started this. How did I even get here? And for those that have violent tendencies and that's been in trouble before and had to take anger management courses before, it's a little more familiar to you. You know what I'm saying? And you should start to do things as talk to someone about this. How did I get here? Why am I so angry? Why do I have these angry outbursts? This allows you to gauge your next step and address these behavioral issues that it became. And most psychologists says that it's 6 basic emotions that we're going to feel in life on a regular basis. We're going to feel these feelings regularly. Fear, when something happens, surprise, happiness, sadness, disgust, and anger. So these are 6 emotions that we're going to feel on a regular basis. As you see what it says, fear, surprise, happiness, sadness, disgust, and anger. But when it gets to that anger is the most destructive of them all. Because this will be displayed in your worldview. We come from people who said, I'm taking no shorts. Disrespect is not tolerated. You know, you carrying a gun, or already you looking for that smoke. You know what I'm saying? Because that emotion of, I wish somebody would. You know, if that's your energy, then you carrying a gun or even being in law enforcement without this balance of anger or having a gauge on how to identify when you go from 0 to 100, these are things that hopefully some skills that you'll learn shortly on how to deal with that. Then we have suppressed anger, which is associated with avoidance. That's suppressed angry is that someone's been getting you upset. You've been upset and you've been angry, but you don't want to say nothing about it. You don't want to display this anger. So that's that suppressed anger, which is associated with avoidance. You try to avoid it. It's like you keep coming home and your partner telling me, baby, everything's good. Nothing's a problem. Everything's okay. And it becomes that buildup. And it becomes that buildup and that anger. And then you're ready to explode. Some people deal with this through their outburst one day. They're just rah into a rage. You're like, where did that come from? It was always there. It was just suppressed. They start yelling and screaming and just acting a fool. And you're like, where did this come from? So these are levels that we got to identify, man, because there's too much happening with gun violence, wars around the world, where we got to identify, where does this come from? Today, I just try to take the high road in every situation that I'm in. You know, I had a Spanish friend who tell me, yo, not a mas, nothing more. And I take that road where I'm like, yo, I don't want that smoke because I know where it can go. I'm not always going to be the victor when that smoke comes. So I got to identify the triggers and what's going to make me get very upset and avoid them. Sometimes when someone gets very upset, I might just not associate with the person, delete them from social media, delete a post, start an argument, what we're really trying to avoid. You know what I'm saying? And then we have people that we have to be aware of being around, which they have what we call chronic anger. You know, we all might know that person, that girl, that guy, that's always mad at something. How does that affect you? Being around a chronically angry person, or even if you're the chronic angry person, we got to look at that. That's someone that's always upset and angry about anything. The weather, oh, it's raining. The bill, oh, I can't pay my bills. Oh, I was with this person last night. Oh, my girlfriend is, my boyfriend. And it's like they always find a reason to be angry. Like they can't find that piece of happiness. For me, I can't associate with that all day, every day, because it becomes draining. Because then I leave saying, what am I mad for? I could have met the person today and been happy and smiling. Now I got to put on a screw face and get the mean mugging because I got to match my friend's energy. We're mad. And it's like, who we mad at today? So be aware of your chronic anger or being around someone that's chronically angry. And then ask yourself this today when it comes to levels of anger. If someone steps on your shoe by mistake, will you accept that apology? You know, would you? Excuse me. Or would they step on your foot and you just let them walk by? Like, that guy was an idiot. Mm-hmm. Same thing with road raging and somebody cutting you off. How you respond to this goes back to that who, what, and why. So identifying those angers is the most important thing dealing with anger management and associating some coping skills to deal with it. First, you got to know where it's coming. If I know when I'm around this person, I'm going to get angry, I might be around that person a little less. If I know if I bring up this conversation to my significant other, I'm going to get angry, I might avoid that conversation. So again, time and time again, we have to learn what is our triggers so we can also identify some coping skills. So as I wrap this up, we're going to talk about shortly the cycle of anger. The cycle is 5 major points with the cycle of anger. And the first one is a trigger. And we'll use example road rage. The person cuts you off, that's the trigger. And now you're upset and you're ready to respond. It starts with a thought. This person did something to me and I'm so mad, what am I going to do? So it goes from the trigger to the thought. Once the thought is there, we have to say, how am I going to take this thought and internalize it emotionally and say, how did that make me feel? Am I ashamed? Am I embarrassed? Do I feel that they got one up on me, one over on me? Do I got to match them with that same energy? So now become the physical reaction. I might start clenching my fist. I might start gritting my teeth. I might start coming up with that plan of action. I'm going to do something, which is the last part, is the behavior. What's that behavior going to be? Me throwing that brick, me cutting them off, me pulling out that gun, me going to a violent mode. So understand too, outside of the who, what, and why am I angry, it goes also into the trigger that made me angry, the thought that's now associated with me being angry, the emotional response, feeling frustrated, the physical reaction, which is you hyping up, getting ready to do something. And the last thing is the behavior. Not understanding these angry triggers have led a lot of people into the graveyard and a situation that they just didn't want to be in, and into a lot of legal situations. So again, if you have an anger issue, find a specialist who specializes in anger management and helping you identify and address your anger, and also that could give you some coping skills to address these anger issues and your anger triggers. If your anger also goes into some type of domestic violence, find a specialist that can talk to you and your partner about de-escalating anger, and always seek some type of therapy or professional treatment when dealing with being angry. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today for another Mental Health Monday. My name is Dr. Ulysses Jackson. You can tune in every Monday where you'll find a new discussion on Mental Health Mondays. Thanks again, Dr. Ulysses Jackson, managing and identifying anger on Mental Health Mondays. Thank you.